With us now, Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman, the former Democratic vice presidential candidate, is named political independent. His book, The Gift of Rest, comes out in paperback today. We're pleased to have him. Welcome.
Thank you, Charlie. Great
I want to talk politics, economics, as well as foreign policy, specifically starting with Syria. What more do you want the United States to do that it is not now doing?
Well, I'd like to see us take a side, clearly. I mean, I don't think it's enough to just say that Assad should go. Assad's a dictator. He's killed almost 20,000 of his people. He is also the #1 ally of our #1 enemy in the Middle East, probably in the world, Iran. We have a moral responsibility and a strategic opportunity to do more than we're doing there. So what would I do? I'd embrace the cause of the opposition to Assad. I'd begin to work with them closely. I'd give them weapons. That's the key. And I'd help them set up safe zones from which they can act. If we don't do that now, well, if we do it now, well, I think we'll really help tip the military balance on the ground and bring the conflict to a quicker end. And we'll also be in a position to work with a new government that takes shape in Syria.
But you do not want to see American planes flying over Syria. You do not want to see the United States involved in any kind of effort as it did in Libya?
Well, I certainly don't want to see American troops on the ground, but I would leave open the option of selected use of our air power, along with our Arab allies who are prepared to join us, I believe, to for instance, protect the Syrian people from being attacked from the air by Assad's air force.
And what's the risk of the chemical weapons that Assad has falling into the hands of people who may not be simply part of the Free Syrian Army, but may in fact be people who've come in with other objectives?
This is a really significant and ominous question. I mean, I think there are two risks here. The first is that Assad might use those chemical or biological weapons against his own people. He's been warned by allies like Russia not to do that, but this is a desperate man who gives every indication of holding on so long that he may destroy his country. On the question of what happens when Assad falls, if and when, there's a lot of preparation being done by neighbors and by the U.S. To the best of our ability to make sure that those chemical weapons don't fall into the wrong hands.
Senator, it's good to see you.
Gayle, it's wonderful to see you. It's not that it's not good to see Charlie, but
yes,
we go back a long way.
No, we really do. We really do. On this day, back in 2000, we looked it up in the books. This was the day that you were selected as Al Gore's running mate for VP. You remember that day?
That's true, and I had forgotten it was exactly the day.
It was exactly
August 7th. You're absolutely right.
It was exactly today. So here we stand with Mitt Romney. What would you do if you were him? Who would you select? Go ahead, you can tell us.
I don't know. They're all, I'm not looking at it that way, but the obvious thing to say, and I experienced it in 2000, the presidential nominee's choice of a running mate is one of the most singular, unilateral exercises of power in American politics. I don't mean government. If you're president, you have the unilateral power to, for instance, declare war. But the choice of the vice presidential running mate is really up to the presidential nominee. It's why I'll forever be grateful to Al Gore for giving me the opportunity he did. I think Mitt Romney, #1, I don't have much fresh to say here. I think the most important thing is to choose somebody that the American people will feel can be president. But probably it's also a bonus to choose somebody who can help you get elected.
That's the
question. And it's balancing those. If you just go for somebody who has a political appeal but won't stand up under the rigors of a campaign as a potential president, then you've made the wrong choice. And he's got some good selections. I mean, a bunch of them are people I know from Congress, like Rob Portman, Marco Rubio.
Are you,
Paul Ryan is another good one.
Are you angry that you're not going to be at the convention?
Charlie, I would say that one of the great benefits of being an independent is that I don't have to go to either convention.
A lot to be talked about during this campaign, so we'll come back to. Thank you for coming.
Great pleasure. Thank you. Good to see you both.